Hey guys, Red Dingbat here, and we are back with another SCP reading. Today we are going to be doing SCP-56, a beautiful person, or at least that's where we're going to start. Right. SCP-56, Object Class, Euclid. SCP-56 is to be kept in a room of its choosing, with whatever furnishing it expresses desire for. Level 1 personnel and above may interact with SCP-56 at any time they choose, for a time length not exceeding 2 hours. The subject is to be guarded by a minimum of 3 security staff at all times, with shift changes every 4 hours. Each guard is to be armed with a non-lethal tranquilizer pistols, loaded with no less than 1,500 microliters of cyclopluron tranquilizer. Any irregularities in personnel and staff developed by extended exposure to 56 will result in psychological examination and relocation to site data expunged. The subject is to be allowed access to any object it desires, with the exceptions of weapons, communication devices, an internet connection, and other SCP objects. It may wander in research sector blank, as it wills, but never allowed access to floors with exits. In the event of an emergency, or if 56 becomes violent, it is to be subdued, and contained within its room if possible. At no time should personnel attempt to harm SCP-56. See Addendum 2B. Description: SCP-56 is a being of variable size, gender, and appearance, which changes in response to the environment around it, especially in regards to living and sentient beings. Its most common form is of a handsome man in his mid-twenties, dressed in garb similar appearance to that of the personnel guarding it, but of a higher quality and aesthetic value. However, it has been recorded as taking these forms: a large, well-groomed Labrador Retriever, when exposed to Dr. Blank's dog; a woman of similar appearance to famous actress Scarlett Johansson when passing by a group of younger female staff; a female doctor in a white lab coat when speaking to various researchers. When asked to take an IQ test, the subject scored nearly 30 points higher than the highest scoring researcher available. A male bodybuilder who was able to lift nearly 250 kilograms twice on a bench press machine in the sector's gym. This has 30 kilograms heavier than the strongest security guard's maximum at the time. A couch of extremely pleasing aesthetic value when left alone in the subject's room. These changes will generally occur the moment all people in the area lose focus on the subject, which occurs immediately upon exposure to new object or person. See Addendum 3. Filming these changes has proved inconsequential, as any viewing the taped or feed suffered the same momentary confusion. Clothing will also change during this time, although 56 has yet to manifest any sort of tools or weapon. It is theoretically impossible to view 56 original or natural form when left in an empty concrete cell and under a closed-loop surveillance. It took the form of a higher quality camera and appeared to monitor the camera watching it. Further attempts to yield its natural form discovered that when alone, it has no readable life signs, including body temperature, heartbeat, or weight. It is assumed by researchers that it could not exist without any sort of perception. Personnel in contact with the subject often report feeling jealous or unsatisfied, yet will often give a great deal of both positive and negative attention to SCP-56, which can be predicted by their personality type. Security staff will often claim that they wish to follow the subject's command, even if they dislike it or its current form, while researchers in extended contact will often try to argue or verbally abuse it, which usually results in the subject sending them out in shame. SCP-56 is quite capable of speech and can apparently communicate in any language, verbal or not, and has been shown fluently in over 200 dialects, including those invented by cryptographers and hobbyists. It frequently treats the staff around it with disdain, although it is generally willing to do whatever is asked of it, so long as the inquiring does so in a submissive way. It expresses interest in magazines, fashion, automobiles, theoretical science, sports, and a multitude of other subjects, usually expressing greater knowledge and understanding of the topic than the person communicating with it. Personnel will generally become angry, disenchanted, or disgusted with SCP-56 after speaking with it for great lengths of time, though they will try to speak with it again if possible. When questioned about other SCPs, it showed fear and occasionally hatred, and refused to speak about any of them, even objects classified as safe. Additional. Subject was found to be working for the clothing design company Redacted. After an unusual number of homicides, suicides, and mental breakdowns of other models when working around SCP-56. When Class E personnel attempted to detain it, their mannerisms provoked it to change into what appeared to be the form of data expunged, resulting in the deaths of 17 agents and 10 civilians. The incident was covered up by claiming an employee suffering from psychopathy brought a firearm to work and attacked the other workers. Addendum 1. Those of the level 4 or above clearance refer to document 956-0. Document 956-0, record audio recording of first encounter with SCP-56. Begin tape. Agent Blank. Hey, listen up, whatever you are. You're under arrest for murder. SCP-56. No, go away. Clicking noise. Agent has drawn a weapon. You need to come with us right now. You don't want to do that, you stupid little man. Expressions of surprise, presumably from onlookers. The fuck? It looks just like data expunged. Gunshots and screaming. End tape. Addendum 2A. See document 956-1. 956-1. Behavioral testing for SCP-56. Testing procedures. Data expunged. Addendum 2B. Results. 1. Male Class D personnel, armed with knife. Intent to harm subject. Subject appeared as a lean, fit man approximately 20 years of age. Subject proceeded to disarm and kill personnel. 1. Female Class D personnel, bearing a bottle of fine wine. Intent to offer subject gift. Subject appeared as a beautiful woman, accepted the gift, and upon tasting, spat it back in the person's face before waving her away. 2 Class D personnel, both male and female, carrying nothing and intending nothing. Subject appeared as a beautiful woman in a well-tailored business suit. Examined both personnel, then dismissed them. 10 Class D personnel, all male, intending and carrying nothing. Subject appeared as a beautiful woman dressed in a low-cut red dress. After approximately 10 minutes, all personnel began showing signs of irritation, and 5 minutes later broke out in fighting. Subject waved them away after watching them for several minutes. 1 Female Level 4 personnel. Voted to be best-looking woman on facility, carrying nothing, intended nothing. Subject appeared to be an extremely aesthetically pleasing woman and displayed a large lexicon and understanding of management skills. Spoke to personnel for nearly 90 minutes until personnel became infuriated and left the room. Addendum 3. Note from Dr. Kenneth. I was recently informed that 56 has repeatedly requested access to the internet. When I asked 56 about it, it told me that we were unable to provide it with enough psychopaths, and that it wanted the whole world to know its face. Needless to say, its request was denied. So, you have something that can turn into a slightly better version of whatever you're thinking, or I have no idea. But that's just a very confusing SCP. Like, it turns into something that's better than you are, or something that you want but is disdainful of you. Now we're on to SCP-57, the Daily Grind. SCP-57. Object Class, Safe. Special Containment Procedure. Site-57 has been constructed to facilitate SCP-57 as relocation is not feasible. It is highly improbable that any outside knowledge of the artifact exists based on the circumstances of its discovery, and thus security is of minimal concern. No containment procedures are required other than the prevention of unauthorized access. All research will be delegated to Dr. Lewis and Dr. Watson unless other specified. Due to the irretrievability of those placed inside SCP-57, access will be granted with the approval of no less than 2 members of O5 Council. Description: SCP-57 is a subterranean chamber with an approximate cylindrical height of 3 meters and a diameter of 18 meters. Artifact is comprised of an impenetrable slate-covered stone. Inside the chamber were dozens of parallel-piped monoliths extended from floor to ceiling that slide in various directions while SCP-57 is activated. It was discovered several meters below on blank, during the construction of a secure containment enclosure for SCP blank. Consequently, SCP blank was assigned an alternate location at Site blank. An entrance to the chamber is located on the northeast side. When a human enters, the door shuts and the walls of the chamber move in such a way as to require the subject's constant attention to remain a safe course through the artifact. The monolith slowly opens and closes until the subject either surrenders or exhausts themselves, at which time SCP-57 crushes them and reverts to its original inactive state after a period of approximately 20 seconds. This process lasts only as long as the subject inside SCP-57 is alive, and has proven to take days. Extended testing proposes to gauge the limits of the artifact have been discouraged. All tests on animals, machines, cadavers have proven futile. Only a living, breathing human is able to initiate this process upon entering SCP-57. Incident Report 57-1. Incident 1. During the excavation of the artifact, a worker employed by the Foundation for the unearthing process entered the chamber without permission at roughly 12:57 a.m. on blank. Upon entering the artifact, the door shut and the dull rumble began to emanate from the chamber. Standard lockdown procedure was initiated, and all personnel in the vicinity was evacuated. A remote-operated vehicle, ROV, was deployed in order to safely determine the cause of the event and to gauge any possible threat of SCP-57. Aside from the rumbling noise produced by the event, no anomalous side effects of the artifact were observed. At 4:32 a.m. the following day, SCP-57 suddenly shut down and returned to its original state as the door shifted back into its open position. At 5:32, the area was declared safe and the excavation process was completed without further incident. The worker in question was never recovered. Experiment Log 57-1. Experiment 1. A controlled experiment for the purpose of exploring the interior of SCP-57 was requested by Dr. Lewis and Watson on blank, and approved shortly thereafter by O5 Council. D-1021 was equipped with a radio able to send and receive transmissions to and from the doctors. Upon entering the chamber, the artifact behaved as expected, with the door abruptly shutting behind D-1021. Upon entering the chamber, the artifact behaved as expected, with the door abruptly shutting behind D-1021. The following is a transcript of the communication between Dr. Lewis and Dr. Watson and D-1021. D-1021. Hey, you didn't tell me the door would close. Can you open it again? This place gives me the heebie-jeebies. Dr. Lewis. Negative. Please proceed as advised and describe your surroundings. Okay, well, there's a bunch of stone columns in here and they keep rearranging their positions. Dr. Watson. D-1021, what is your status? Damn columns snuck up on me. They're moving around, arranging themselves so they... What is it? The columns behind me are closing up. The ones ahead of me are spreading out. I don't like it. I can't see the door anymore. Stay calm. Move with the columns and you'll be fine. If I stand still, they'll crush me. I have to keep moving or they'll crush me. 17 seconds of silence. How long am I going to be in it? It'll be over soon. You're doing fine. Just keep moving. But what if I'm trapped in it? D1021 begins to hyperventilate. I'm trapped. They're going to crush me and... Hey, listen. Get a hold of yourself. The columns will eventually lead you to an exit. Relax and continue. Subject calms down noticeably. So there's an exit? Thank God. I was scared for a second I'd never superfluous dialogue expunged. Yes. Keep it up and you'll be right as rain. Yes, keep it up and you'll be right as rain. You'll have no trouble making parole once this is over. The experiment continues without incident for another 41 minutes. At this point, D1021 becomes noticeably distressed again. I saw how big this place is from the outside. Am I going in a circle? Negative. Negative. Continue to proceed through the opening columns. You'll find the exit. There is no fucking exit. You bastard son of a bitch has trapped me in here and now I'm fucking trapped. Subject begins to hyperventilate again. Dr. Walton. You are not trapped, D1021. Continue to the exit or you will be forced to... Forced to what? There's nothing you can do to me. I'm gonna fucking die in here. I'm gonna die. D1021. Panicking will only exacerbate your situation. Focus. D1021 breaks into tears. He continues to cry for the next 2 hours as he makes his way through the columns and does not reply to any questions. Eventually, the crying ceases. So this is it. Deep exhalation. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I guess I'll just stop and close my eyes. Maybe it won't be so sad, so bad. Several minutes of silence. I can't. D1021 continues to repeat this for several minutes until he trails off and falls silent. D1021? D1021 stops in his tracks, breathing slowly but heavily. Faint sobbing is audible. D1021, proceed through the room as advised. D1021's gentle sobbings abruptly cut off. Brief, loud cracking and snapping sounds are heard before the transmission is lost. Strangely, D1021 did not report any sightings of the remains of the excavation worker lost in Event 57-1. Accordingly, no efforts were made for the recovery of 1021's remains. As a result of this inconclusive data, reclassification of SCP-57 to Euclid is pending. And that is SCP-57. A weird room that makes you run around it forever until you die. The daily grind. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because why not? It's free. And anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, bye.